This is Gary Atencia with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. We are here with Dove Messages with Miss Diane Wood. Diane, let me ask you, you've helped over 3,000 people in guidance and helping people along. When did you first realize you had such a connection with people, but with the metaphysical world as well, and being able to help them?
I would say since I was in elementary school, I really loved counseling people. So it just grew and grew over the years, obviously. And then I got into metaphysics in my early 20s, and it just overtook everything my whole life at that point.
Wonderful. A lot of research, I imagine, on your end before you delved in.
Absolutely. Brought up as a Catholic, actually. But the metaphysical world just opened up doors for me, a lot of studying, and I belonged to a church, so to speak.
And so why the leaning towards palmistry? Where'd that come from for you?
I just found it exciting. When I was a little girl living in New York, I went to a fair, and it was at a park across the street from us on Long Island. And these people were doing like fortune telling. And of course, I, at that young age, didn't know anything about that, and it just intrigued me. So here, decades and decades later, just finding out that palmistry actually is science. And I will tell you that the left brain actually shows in your right palm, and the right hemisphere shows in your left palm. So your left palm is more your intuition, spirituality, arts, and music, whereas the right hand is more logic and math type skills.
Wonderful. And so when you were looking at somebody's palms, what are you looking for? What are you seeing?
You know, Gary, every single line and every bump or non-bump in the whole hand, the texture actually tells a story, and the timeline from when you were a little child to the mature years, all the way through. In every realm, your health, your education, your business and career, the downfalls, the challenges, marriages, relationships, all of that's in there.
So we're talking about a roadmap on your journey.
It's absolutely a roadmap, and that's exactly what I call it. Then, of course, I use the numerology that coincides with it so beautifully. It's complementary. I just go, aha, see, it's right here too, in my head. It is a puzzle that I put together for people. We have setbacks oftentimes in our life, those roadblocks, the challenges I call them, and some people sabotage themselves. And those are things I like to point out to people, and some people have them more than others. But in knowing that is power to know, because we all come here to learn certain lessons. And if you know early enough, you have a tendency then to work on them and not get down the road that's some problems for you, because that's not what we want.
Absolutely. So you're talking about going with the flow instead of going against it.
Even with all this knowledge doesn't mean life is a cakewalk, because we are, each of us here individually, with different lessons that we're here to learn. And so that's why I love it so much, because everybody has a different story. And I get impassioned because I want to help that person go that way of least resistance. And even when there are challenges, at least they know what they're up against, and that's power. You know what, just so you know, in your mature years, which I'm sure feel like a million years away, but after your late 50s, you're gonna have an occupation where you don't have to worry so much about occupation and responsibilities as other people do, which is really nice. Even though I don't see you ever quitting, you've got a million projects going on, but I see you more traveling and possibly, well, I'm not seeing it 100%, but I do see some international travel.
Let me ask you, the numerology, what numbers are you looking at? Are these dates? Are these birth dates? What are they?
Everything is derived from your original birth certificate, name, and your birth date. That's all I need from a person. And then, of course, they have a concern in a certain area, but I don't want details. More about every letter in the alphabet has a number value. So it's 1 through 9. And then there's many, many charts that I do with the numerology indicating so many different things for that person. Incredible.
Sounds like a pretty important thing when you name your child.
You know, it actually is. I don't think there's any mistakes. I've come across a lot of people that I read for that the parents didn't know what to name their child, so they have named them, let's just say, Baby Girl Wood. That is their destiny and their mission in life. Even though the vibration of the new name that they get a week later or a month later can be a little bit more challenging for that child. Interesting, but it is. Even misspellings on a birth certificate indicate their destiny. That's why I say there are no mistakes.
Unbelievable. With these tools that you have, and obviously the physical world, speaking with the person, they're looking at the palms, the numerology, these have to be great tools. Be a guidance coach for these folks.
I just want to help guide people. And you know, it's great that you said that, because it just brings into my mind, I love helping everybody, no matter what age, sex, or religious. It doesn't matter, because life is life. And my passion is, though, I do love the younger the better, because when they see their pitfalls, when they see where life could take them, they don't want that. Then they can get put on that road to least resistance in their life, and that's really exciting.
Why is it so relevant today?
Gary, I think it's relevant always. I believe that we have so many more challenges now. I don't know if I'm just perceiving that. We just have so many things going on in our world, too, not just our own personal lives. And so it can help us go through that narrow path in life. It's very important nowadays for us to go with our heart, not just to take things at face value from other people.
You are in tune to a metaphysical world. Do you also teach your clients to be in tune to their angels, be in tune to things around them that could help them along their journey?
I absolutely do, and I do get into that part of it. And what's interesting is every once in a while I do see the angelic forces and people with their hands, and that empowers a person to know, whether it's even been someone who's deceased, a loved one. Not always, but oftentimes it does show up. It's always nice to know that it's meant to be, as difficult as that can all be.
Folks, as you can see on the bottom of the screen right there is her website. If you go to the website there, you're going to find a lot of tools, a lot of things that you can do right there. It's a very interactive site there where you're going to be able to see some testimonials as well of many, many folks that she has helped along the way. The last thing here, someone out there who is thinking about coming and doing something like this, maybe there's a lot of fear in it, maybe there's a lot of intrigue, they don't know if they want to do it or not. What type of things can you help them with? Are we talking about family? Are we talking about finance, everything?
Everything. That's why I think we're doing this today, too, I feel, to take away that fear. There's nothing to fear, because this is science. I think in our Western world, it's been left behind along the way, and now it's back in again. And people are more accepting to these sciences and helping people in their relationships, in money, how they're using it, where their pitfalls are, and their career. It's interesting to know if it's a time period where you shouldn't be getting into business right now, or to start something new. There's a time and energy for everything. Even though we have our free will, that's where we learn our lessons. But isn't it powerful to know that we were given these wonderful tools, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. You may go through a relationship or a career opportunity, doesn't last as long, doesn't mean it's wrong. It was meant to be, so you learn from it. But the power is, maybe if you knew that I shouldn't get married to X, Y, and Z, be friends, maybe. And you'll find out in a year or two that it was for the better.
Been a pleasure, Diane, and obviously you're right. We learn as we go, and sometimes the learning can be painful. But one thing we don't like to do is learn over and over again the same mistake. And I think what you can do here is guide a lot of people out there and possibly sit down with Diane. She would love to sit down with you. She will take it exactly at a pace that you feel comfortable with. She'll go after what you want to talk about. And so you're definitely in control, but you got to sit back, relax, and let her guide you. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.